Hey, so today we're here for our second video. The first video was about arriving in America. Second video here, we're going to be working on the 10 surprising things I found in my first day of class. So the 10 surprising classroom experiences for a Ghanaian coming to go to school here in the United States. Surprise numero uno. There's number one surprise for me when I first got here, and the first time I showed up in the classroom was the seating arrangement, right? So the chairs were arranged in a circular form, and the professor, in this case in Ghana we call them lecturers, just sat in amongst the students. In Ghana, classrooms, at least when I went to school, are usually arranged in a manner that the students sat in rows all the way to the back. And when I was in UST doing land economy, I used to call myself the back bencher. So we were usually sitting at the back, making trouble for the rest of the class. Here now, it was in a circular form, and the professor just happened to be one of the people sitting there. In fact, it took me time to even know who was a professor or who was leading the class. In Ghana, that is going to be obvious to you as soon as you get into the class. So that was surprising to me. The surprise number two, the French would say though, was just how serious the class was on day one. In Ghana, when school reopens or resumes, it can take up to sometimes the middle of the semester before classes really get serious, before some students will show up, especially those who have traveled abroad during the holidays, and before some of the lecturers, we call them lecturers in Ghana, will show up. So I'm not used to the class getting serious at the very early stages. But here on day one, as soon as we entered into the classroom, the discussion was going on. Apparently that was part of the class. Eventually the professor asked if we did our homework, and people said yes and started presenting on their homework. That is a whole story on its own, because I actually didn't even know we had homework. Like I had no clue. I was just showing up. So I was sitting there thinking, did they meet before I got there? Like, how did they get homework? And how could everybody have done it before the classroom? Like, this is the first day of class. But no, in America, they actually email you your homework. If you're a graduate student, you get email communicating to you what your course structure is going to look like, what your reading materials are going to be, and if you have a homework for day one, the professor will give you the homework, when it is due, and what his expectations are. Ghana boy here showed up in class, didn't even know I had campus email, so we'll talk about that differently. They kind of segs into my third surprise. You actually get homework and other things sent or communicated to you via email in the university here. I graduated from the University of Science and Technology in Ghana. I didn't have a university email when I graduated. None of my professors or lecturers in Ghana contacted me via email when I was in Ghana. In fact, I didn't even know that was possible, right? So the third surprise was just how much email the professors here use. They email homework, they email new instructions, set up, sometimes groups. If they're trying to get you to work in groups for a particular project, they will send you an email on who is in your group, and the different things. If you need to contact someone for something, they will send you an email for that. It was actually surprising to me that they communicated that much through email. The fourth surprise here for me was cigarette breaks during classroom sessions. In Ghana, we call them lectures, right? So the professors here, or the ones that I was exposed to, actually gave cigarette breaks at the time. So in an 1 hour classroom session, you may get 1 or 2 cigarette breaks, and people actually went out to smoke. Like, I went out one time to just see what are people doing when they take these breaks. I found out, and I saw a bunch of my mates just hanging around smoking and chatting it away. That was really surprising to me. I don't know if I quite got over that surprising. But in general, they gave breaks during the lectures or during the classroom session. Throughout my 4-year undergraduate studies in Ghana, I don't remember getting a break in the middle of the classroom session. Breaks were usually scheduled in the structure, so everybody knew everybody went to break at 9 o'clock, regardless of what you're doing. And if your subject was scheduled at that point, people took breaks. But not every professor will come and say, okay, we'll have a 3-hour session. In the 3 hours, you're going to get a 15-minute break every 1 hour, and then you get a 30-minute break in the middle, like something like that. It was surprising to me, but it did happen. The other surprise, my surprise number 5 here is the secrecy about grades. Like when you write your exams, or in fact, generally your privacy as a student was surprising to me. In Ghana, when we write exams at the end of the semester, they post the results on a bulletin board for everybody to see. So you know how you you compare to everybody, and those who trail different papers, we knew them, you know. And if they came back in, I think November or something like that, we used to call it, or the October conference, you know, they failed in some papers. It was public information, your grades and your GPA. I think in tech we called it CWA, was all posted out there for everybody to see. Here in America, no. Not even your parents are allowed to see your grades unless you shared your password or stuff with them. So I went for a while before knowing how to check my grades. Like, you got to go into a campus system and only you can check your grades unless you give somebody your passwords and authorization. That surprised me a lot, because I think if somebody's paying your fees, they should have access to see how you're doing. But you know, in America, privacy is a big deal, and it goes up to as far as including your grades and how you're doing in school. Participation was number 6. My surprise number 6 was how much participation is cherished here in the American education system. In fact, you actually get grades for participating in class, right? So in Ghana, usually we actually say you're a talkative, somebody who talks too much in class. It's a bad thing. But here in America, participation, you get grades for that. Obviously, the professor will not want one person to hijack the class and stuff like that, but they do encourage you to participate. They make sure that you are participating, that they give you homework, they give you stuff, and you actually come and present ideas to and in front of other people. But getting grades for that, I didn't know about it when I got here. Like, I'd never heard about participation grades, but we were getting participation grades, and also the participation grades helped, because there were times I didn't take some finals, because by the time we hit the finals, I had gathered enough grades, or if you like marks, that I know I already have an A. And if I have an A, the final doesn't really, for me, do nothing for me. I mean, if you want to get 100%, yeah, you can. But if getting an A starts at 90 and I have 91%, or even 92%, why would I bother to write another final so I can get a grade? Just knowing that structure alone was a bit surprising for me. The bigger one, I think the real big one is, and I'll call my surprise number 7, is the way people talked in class. They didn't raise their hands before they spoke. So the professor will be talking and somebody would just chime in and say what is on their mind. And in some cases, when the professor does ask a question and people have to raise their hands to speak, people raise whichever hand was available to them. Whether left or right. Now in Ghana, we only raise our right hands. And if you raise your hands, unless you're called upon, you don't say a word. But here, first of all, a lot of people did not even raise their hand. They just spoke. They just talked over the professor. And it was acceptable to do that. Maybe it's graduate school level, but it was one of the shocking things for me turning around and seeing some of my colleagues raising their left hands before they are called upon, and some people just talking without being called upon. That was surprising to me. I never could quite get over that. Surprise number 8, getting homework or a project work assigned to you every week, right? Like in Ghana, like I said, some people don't even show up in class, to class until the mid-semester to write the mid-semester exams, which counts. But here, you get grades every week. So you get a homework, you have a project work, and something is due every week. And I'll talk about it maybe in a different video. It goes into how you register for classes. Like when I got here, I wanted to get done with school real quickly. So I registered up to 5 classes. Each class, the professor treated you as if that was the only class you were taking for the semester. So the workload was heavy. You had a lot of homework. You had a lot of project works that you had to do for each one of them. So my advice to you, if you're coming to study here, is to be very careful in how you choose your classes. You want to space out your time as much as possible, especially if you plan on working like we did. I was washing dishes on campus at the cafeteria, making some extra money, and that I will save that for a different video on just survival. But if you plan to use your time in different ways, you want to be very careful how many classes you sign up for in a semester. The surprising thing for me was every week you had a homework or a project to go do, and each homework or project you got scores for it, so you can actually accumulate your points, like I said earlier. And through doing this homework and projects, by the time you get to your final, you would actually know how many marks you need extra to get an A, or if you already have an A, right? So again, there were instances where I already had an A before the finals, so I didn't even bother to write the finals. And that was surprise number 8 for me. Surprise number 9 was the use of technology. Like, it was heavy in the classroom. My very first day of class, people had to do presentations using PowerPoint, very flashy PowerPoints. And here I didn't even know I had been given a homework. I had never written a PowerPoint in my life. And not only that, I don't know how to do it, right? So I don't know how to create a PowerPoint. I didn't know how to check my email, like campus email in particular. So I was really disadvantaged. In fact, it got so bad that at the end of the semester, there were people who actually thought I was dumb, right? They actually didn't imagine I knew, or didn't think I knew what I was doing. And they were right. When it came to technology, I had no clue, right? So I had to go to the professors and just tell them, first, I don't know you gave email. I didn't even know how to do it. And the good thing is a lot of the universities have technology support centers. At least IUP did. So if you're an international student and you're not good at technology, or even English is not something you're very conversant with, there are resources for you to bring yourself up to speed, or up to the American standard, if you like, before you start engaging. So my professor helps me with, I go to the bookstore, you can get a diskette, and this 2004, so diskettes were still available, at least to me. I mean, even though everybody else had moved on into flash drives, and some people wrote their presentation and emailed it to themselves, so just open their email in class. I had to go buy a flash drive, I mean, what they call it, a diskette, and did my presentation on a diskette. So there was a heavy reliance on technology. Even though I was not in a technology class, I had nothing to do with IT. Everything I did as a student relied on having a computer. That is why a lot of the students or young kids, when they are going to school, computer or laptops is one of the things they ask for. And American kids in particular, they are masters of this before they even get to high school. So it's not a problem for them. But I was coming into grad school and I had never owned a laptop of my own. So I was starting at a disadvantage. So if you're coming here to go to school, my advice to you is know as much as you can about technology. It probably even got worse since I graduated. It's a long time ago. The other thing I didn't understand, my last surprise number 10, was how people didn't understand me, right? So I grew up in Ghana. English is our official language. I went to school studying in English, and I didn't even have to write the TOEFL or whatever that test is for people who don't speak English, because medium of instruction, everything is English in Ghana. So I came here thinking I'm pretty solid. I do think I kind of have the English language down a little bit, right? So most people would understand what I say, but I was wrong. Like, my accent was pretty thick. I mean, right now I still have an accent, and that's 16 years down, you know, and I still have this accent. Imagine me on day one. Like, I was like a real Tamale guy in the United States. So like, my accent was pretty thick, but I didn't know that was why people didn't understand me. Right? I would speak and they'll have no clue what I was saying. Even my presentation in class, I could just read the body language that these people, excuse me, just wanted to be done with this and be gone, right? And when I write papers, the professors will grade the paper and correct my spelling, like, because I was writing with the English spelling, like program. I'll spell it with MME, and they'll cancel it out. Color, I'll put OUR, and you know, just the different ways that I was brought up, and I couldn't understand why they didn't understand me, right? But then the flip side of it was, there were times they would make references to American examples, local examples of things that I had never seen, so I couldn't appreciate it. And to make up for it, I would usually go outside the classroom and read more on the topic and try to see, oh, this was the example this guy was trying to say, or stuff like that. But when I talk, they don't have the ability to go research more on what I was saying. They just don't understand. And there's actually a funny story about that. So 2 semesters in, the Honor Society of Phi Kappa Phi decides that they were going to honor students who had 4.0 GPA. And I had a 4.0 at that time. So I was one of the students who had been invited to get to be inducted into the Honor Society of Phi Kappa Phi. So I show up, and 3 other colleagues of mine were there too, right? They also had a 4.0. And when they saw me, they're like, hey man, what are you doing here? And I'm like, yeah, I'm coming to get inducted. And they're like, you got 4.0? And I said, yeah, I do. Why? You do? They said, yes, I have 4.0 just like you. Having an accent doesn't make me dumb. Like, I could communicate, I can write. Like, you may correct my spelling because that's not the spelling you're used to, but it doesn't make it wrong, okay? So I am intricately not a dumb person. Like, I can read and understand, I can communicate and do my homework well. But here, because people didn't understand me, and to me, I was speaking English, I didn't quite understand why they didn't understand me. That was my surprising thing, number 10. So those are the 10 things that surprised me on day one when I showed up for class here in the United States. I'll stop here. Let me know what your 10 surprising things in the classroom have been in the US, or if you found yourself in Ghana as a foreigner or as an American, what were the things that surprised you in the classroom? I know a lot of the things others have been talking about is food, the culture, the things that people do. But if you're coming into the classroom as a student, what surprised you? What are the things you didn't know or weren't expecting, and they happened in your experience when you moved to Ghana or when you moved to Africa as a foreigner? And if you're a Ghanaian or a foreigner who found yourself in America, what were the things you went through? Please let me know. Put a comment in there at the bottom. Let's have a discussion and see if we can help other people to expect and prepare for some of the challenging things we went through while being students here in the United States. And again, do me a favor, watch the video, of course, discuss it with your friends, put your comment in, like it, subscribe to my channel, and share it to your friends and family so we can get people prepared and get them ready for school here in America. I mean, like I said the other time, we're going to do this video, take it all the way till the time we're going to start making families. You probably heard somebody call me daddy already. I will introduce him at some point. We'll be talking about how to get jobs, interviewing processes, the kind of jobs you do. And for now, we're just starting with classes, with school, preparing and laying the foundation that we're going to build on. So I intend to take this videos fine for everybody to benefit. But do me that favor, do me that solid. Hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and share so others can benefit. Put your comment at the bottom. Let me know what you think. What were your experiences? What are the new things that you have added to your repertoire in terms of the assimilation process? And let's get this going. Thank you very much. And once again, it's been awesome making this video, and I'm going to continue. Expect video number 3. Thank you, everybody. Bye.